Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I am your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always such a fun ride. You can find us so many different ways. Abundant Television is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Radio, we are with the biggest country radio station in South Carolina, WZLA. They're a wonderful radio station. Make sure you check out Benji and Lacey in the mornings. They're buddies of mine. By the way, they say they're getting a lot of Alabama listeners. I wonder why. I think maybe I have a little bit to do with that. Also, you can find us on television in Alabama, close to the Huntsville area, and it's on channel 182 on Charter Communications. We appreciate that avenue as well. Facebook.com. You'll find us all over the place there. If you would like to go back and look at some of the past shows, all you have to do is go up to the little search engine, type in my name, and let's just say you want to see a show that had Sam Anthony in it. All you got to do is put Donna Feazell, Sam Anthony, and you'll pull up all those shows. But again, thank you so much for being so awesome. Continue sending email. It makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. Okay, I am about to expand the coverage here, and this guy is helping me. His name is Sam Anthony. Sam, so great to have you on the show today. Let's talk about you. What do you do?
Well, Donna, thanks for having me on your show. It sounds to me like you don't need my help. You're everywhere.
I do. Yes, I do.
So for your audience, I run a platform called YourNews. We are a hyper-local news platform. So the best description is it looks like the local paper in every city in the United States. We are a news content distribution platform. Everybody knows the legacy media is going the way of the dinosaur. It's no secret. I'm sure a lot of you, anybody listening to your show is probably going, thank God, right? So what we do will ultimately become the next mainstream media. We currently have just under 6,000 news reporters. We call them content creators that produce local news all over the United States, and we're expanding and growing daily. This model has a monetization model. You know, everybody knows YouTube and how you can make money with YouTube. Well, the way our platform works is the content creators create an account, they submit content to the site, they share it on their social media pages, and then every time the article gets open, they make money off of it. And then advertisers can target right down to one zip code if they wanted to, and anywhere in between. So what we are, like every news outlet, Donna, is an information aggregator with massive scale. And what we're doing is bringing all the country's information under one umbrella and creating one uniform media.
There are folks out there, Sam, who they have a voice, but they can't expand the voice. They feel like they've just been beat down. A lot of folks, you know, when COVID hit, I got beat down just a little bit too, you know, because I mentioned the jab a few times. My husband and I have never had the shot, by the way. We're as healthy as horses, is like we would say here in the South. So to that person who has a voice and they've got a good voice out there, would you be able to help that person?
Of course. Well, look, I mean, YouTube created a platform where anybody could be a broadcast journalist, right? I mean, they created a technology where, and by the way, you know, I'm a little older. Okay. So, you know, going back to 1990, you remember our options. There was like 3 or 4, CNN, ABC, NBC. There was no Fox until 96. So you only had a few choices. But with the birth of YouTube and that technology, YouTube has something like 61 million creators. And now the younger generation has options. So, you know, but the marketplace makes the decision, Donna. Not, you know, it's the market that decides. I mean, how many people on YouTube have you seen that only had, you know, maybe the last posting was 2 or 3 years ago? It was because for the most part, maybe they just couldn't make it as a broadcaster, but that technology exists. So the newspaper industry and the legacy media is collapsing. And what our platform does is it allows for anybody to become a local news reporter and be the voice of their community. Where it did not exist 20 years ago, today you can now be a local news reporter in any city in America covering local news stories. And that's the change. So people always tell me, well, how do you fact check anything? I go, we can't fact check anything. How could I possibly know about the city council meeting that you attended, Donna, in your market? How can I know if you're telling the truth or not? And you can't, but the marketplace will let us know. So if you lie, the only thing you have, and you know this, is your credibility, right? The moment you lie, you'll lose your whole audience. So it's okay to make a mistake and then, say, hey, by the way, last week I screwed up on this, or yesterday, but, to out and out lie, the marketplace will let us know, and then we'll get rid of that person. But what'll end up happening is people will follow people they trust and they know. And the news reporting of the future is going to be your neighbor, somebody in the community who says, you know what, I'm already going to these events. I'm just going to sign up to become what we call a citizen journalist. And I'm going to start sharing that information out with the community. Perfect example of a poster child for citizen journalists is Nick Shirley. Everybody's heard of Nick. So here's Nick, a 23-year-old, never went to broadcast journalism school, never worked for radio, TV, or newspaper. And how is he uncovering all these stories? Explain that to me. Like, it's not even his job.
For you. How about he's using common horse sense for this?
That's all it is. Okay. Exactly. He's doing it so good that California is trying to pass a law to make it illegal to uncover crimes. That's how nuts it is. It's so easy to figure out, but yet the mainstream media couldn't figure it out. Explain that to me. Somebody said to me, well, how do you know if it's true? I go, do you watch mainstream media? Everything they've been feeding you is a lie.
Okay, that's what I'm noticing. Okay. And I've noticed this for a number of years. And you folks out there are noticing the same thing I am, because we are just common, walking, chewing gum, walking around people. Okay. So this is okay. So you can change the channels. You can go CNN, even Fox sometimes. So CNN, all of those television stations, radio stations, or whatever. And it's almost like they're getting the same memo. Okay. It would be like you send the same memo out to all of your folks and you say, mention that the sky will turn purple today. They're all saying the exact same thing. So why would I even watch them? If I turn the channel and that's what I get, every single one. What is news? News is news. So what is your definition of news?
Yeah, a threat to our democracy. Remember that one, Sinclair Broadcasting, I don't know how many, 40, 50 TV saying the same thing at the same time. It's called centralized news, Donna. So here's the good news. The legacy media has failed us, right? They've turned out to just be a colossal disaster. And I'll tell you when it started. Back in the 80s, there was at least 500 independent news outlets. Today, there's 6. It's all controlled by institutions. From the federal government standpoint, it's much harder to control 500 independent people than it is to control 6. And so if you wonder why it seems like the media is a PR piece for the Democratic Party, it's because they are. And if you don't believe me, go look up the, what do they call them? The NGOs that were funneling money to Reuters and AP and all the liberal news outlets that they were giving Politico, God knows how many millions of dollars. It was all propped up and funded. And so all the money was going to them to control the narrative. Now all the money's gone. It's being dried up. And so the good news is now they're on a wing and a prayer. So what's going to replace it is going to be independent journalism, completely decentralized. And what we do is put the power of the press in the hands of the people, Donna, where it belongs, not in the hands of institutions that can push an agenda by a specific party. So the good news is for people that are concerned that legacy media is not going to go away, or how are we going to get our local news? It's all going to be independent reporting, and the marketplace is going to be able to determine who's full of it and who's not.
Well, I want to ask you another question. Again, I'm using common sense. When President Biden was actually president, we all saw things, and we were told, "No, you're not. You're imagining that. That didn't really happen." And the poor guy. It was almost like elder abuse. I mean, because he couldn't function, and we all saw that. But then the media was covering this up, and they were saying, "No, you didn't see that. That's not really." I mean, he didn't stutter, he didn't stammer, he didn't like fall down the stairs instead of up the stairs. Fall up the stairs then down the stairs. We all saw this happening. But they were burying it and they were covering it up. And then they started on President Trump about, the Epstein files, and common sense will tell you this. If he were really guilty of something like that, would they not have, and I'm using common sense here again, would that not have been pulled out of the hat like before he ran for president? I mean, couldn't you have had, it's always going to be the smoking gun. Well, we've all been told the smoking gun, we're about to get him now. We've been told that so many times now that we go, next.
They lost all credibility, Donna. That's the issue. I mean, the New York Times got a Pulitzer Prize for reporting on Donald Trump and Russia collusion. The thing that was completely fabricated, and they're winning awards for this stuff. And to my knowledge, nobody ever took that award back. It's like, yes, we did a great job lying to everybody. This is how you reward people. So anybody that has a brain is not watching mainstream media. It's all going away. And even if you were, and even if they were telling the truth, Donna, it's all going away anyway. And the reason I say that is because the average person watching cable news, look it up, is about 73 years old. And nobody's following up behind. That's the average. So what does the average person live to? Well, it's 78. Okay. It's just, or maybe 9, or whatever it is. Say 80, doesn't matter. The point is, do I need to tell you what the math is between 73 and 78? So how many years do you think they have to go? Where the money's going is it's going to platforms. So I'll give you an example. Are you on Rumble?
Yes.
Now, I showed you how many creators were on Rumble earlier. 250,000 channels is what they call them, okay? 250,000 people drove 50 million people to that site last month. On YouTube, there's 61 million channels that drove 3 billion. I have absolutely no idea how many people on TikTok and Instagram, but it's in the hundreds of millions. The platforms, people could set up a page on a platform, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or Rumble, and they promote themselves, but the platform is hosting their content. And so if I have 1 million people telling people to watch their show on my platform, I'm getting massive traffic. And where do you think the money goes? It goes where the people are. And that is the reason they're going out of business. It has nothing to do with mainstream media lying. They could have been telling the truth and had our backs, and it would have lasted another week or two. It wouldn't make a bit of difference. They're going out. It's an antiquated product. If the best example is, it's the reason you don't send a telegraph anymore, because some guy created a telephone, and that's how this is. This is just, it's going from the horse and buggy to the automobile.
There we go. I want to be on that train. And so let's go into a commercial break. That's okay. Sure. So I can pay for the show. And we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay? We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching Your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon, or anytime you would. Don't get in trouble at work. You can watch the show after hours as well. Check out the website, donnasedge.com, donnasedge.com. Continue sending email. Absolutely makes my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. I have Sam Anthony with me right now, and I'm really proud to be part of this team. So let's talk about, you've heard the term boots on the ground. Okay, that's us every day, folks. We're out there. We are actually in the world. We see the pricing of packages. We see all kinds of things that happen here. And those are the people you are gearing for, the people who have knowledge and the people who would like to get that voice heard. So let's dig in a little bit more about folks who have boots on the ground.
Yeah, well, that's our whole platform. People always tell me that, our artificial intelligence is going to replace the news business. And, I keep telling them there's not even a remote possibility that could happen. So if you know anything about AI, the only thing you can do is go to the internet and grab a story that somebody wrote and rewrite it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But somebody has to do the initial work. So what we have thousands of independent reporters that are covering anything from, it could be restaurant reviews, theater critics, movie reviews. It could be a city council meeting, the high school football game. I have somebody that does strictly Formula One. I just picked up somebody that does NASCAR, right? Only NASCAR news. That's all they do. And I promise you, ESPN is not going to hire them. And it doesn't mean that they do a bad job. As a matter of fact, they're so good that they actually got press passes to go to Texas to the Motor Speedway as media. Now they're just going to distribute from my platform. Make sense? So what our product does is it gives, and by the way, I'm just going to say one thing. For journalists or people coming out of school, this has to be the most exciting time. Everybody thinks, oh, I need to get a job. Well, here's the problem. I live in the Palm Beach market in Florida. And there's a gentleman here that when I moved here 37 years ago was the political writer for the Palm Beach Post. He was very well known. And do you know he just announced retirement, Donna? So that's like almost 40 freaking years later. So the point is if you came in and you were behind him, you never would have got his job because he didn't give it up. And the only reason he's given it up is because it's all coming to an end. That's the reason. He's taking his severance package and leaving. So for new journalists, this gives them the opportunity to grab a spot and become the go-to person in their community for that specific topic. And normally what happens is because I talk to journalists all the time, and they'll tell me their passion would be something like, I'll make it up, fashion. And they like to write about fashion, but the only job they could get is writing business news. And they're like, I don't know anything. And one girl told me, I don't know anything about business. Right? I just know I like this dress, or these shoes go with these earrings and this dress. And all of a sudden now she's got to do something completely different. Mm-hmm. And this allows for them to do exactly what they want. It's called the creator economy. And it gives birth to new opportunities for new creators and new people to come on and get in a space that they never could get in before. Watch what happens to journalism schools. It'll become obsolete. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no reason to go to broadcast journalism school. Do you think when you set up an account at YouTube, they say, let me see your degree?
No. No, they never asked me for mine.
They don't care.
Horticulture. What would horticulture have to do with a journaling degree? Okay, so I totally get it. Auburn University, by the way, War Eagle. There you go. So let me ask you another question. What kind of stories are people wanting to hear?
So that's a good question. And I'm going to say this if you really want to gain traction, our platform is like any other platform. You know how on X or YouTube you can follow people, right? And you build an audience. Mm-hmm. The platform's job is to create technologies to enhance revenue. So my job for the creators is to bring technology that makes it easier for them to make money. So when they post a story and it alerts if they have 1,000 followers, it'll send a link to 1,000 followers. When they click it, it'll automatically generate ad revenue because the advertisers can target to a specific geography right down to a specific topic. So they make money instantly. But ask me that question one more time because I had an answer for that. I just got
what kind of stories are people wanting to hear?
So that's a good question. What you really want to do is put out content that's compelling. So I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to write about a local event that's happening in the community because people like to get that stuff. But it's another thing to write about, uncovering fraud or something that's big. So the example would be, the gentleman I was telling you about that has the elector list, which he created technology to find which it will find all the fraud through voter registrants in a specific community. So to be able to utilize that, so he showed me one thing where in one county, there was 1,081 people voting from one location. It turns out that location was a warehouse, which, immediately nobody lives there, which means there's 1,081 votes that are BS, but a journalist needs to write that story. That story will gain traction in the community. You want to know why? Because when you read it, you're going to be pissed off and send it to every single person right to the politicians. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff. That's the stuff that matters most in the community.
It's not fluff news we're looking for. I'm talking the everyday American. I don't want fluff news. I want to know what's happening, like really happening.
Yes. And so there's two kinds. You have the fluff stuff. You have the bank robbery, the car crash, the city council meeting, like the high school football game. I wouldn't consider fluff news because it attracts a big audience. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff is going away, Donna. There's no local news reporters covering this stuff anymore. It's now going to end up becoming on platforms with independent journalists. But that story, think about how many families have kids that are playing high school sports in a specific market.
Oh, in Abbeville, South Carolina, there are a lot of proud parents in this.
And it's huge. It's huge.
One up there.
So imagine if you covered that game and then shared it out with the community. that they would be shared all over the place. You'd become the go-to person for high school sports. And that's what this is all about. So
journalism degrees or no journalism degree, you're it.
That's exactly my point. And artificial intelligence like ChatGPT is only a tool for you to plug in the notes for it to write a story. Maybe you can't write well and this will write it better. But once you read it and you get it the way you want it, you submit that. And that becomes your article. So it's just a tool. That's all it is. It's no different than picking up a hammer because your fist is not going to be able to nail the nail in. You're using the tool.
I love that analogy. That's a good one right there. So let me ask you a question, because communities feel lost. Okay, because you've got the legacy media and they're only thinking of the big thing and the money that's bringing into them and who's bringing the money in. So that's all they're going to report on. But I'm talking about lost communities who have some great stories out there. I mean, wonderful. Anytown, USA, and they need somebody. They need somebody who's going to put them out there, but okay. So we're talking in this particular area about water issues, local water. And I'm telling you, communities all over the United States are suffering as well. We want to know what's the truth, what's fiction. We want someone trusted in the community. If you are that trusted person in your community, you really need to be listening up. Okay. Because you can be the town hero in more ways than you'll ever imagine.
You're exactly correct. This is where it's all going to be heading, to a citizen-powered press. It's going to be the people that are in the community already uncovering all this stuff that other people trust. And all they're going to do is lay it out for them in an article or a video and then share it out to the community. This is simple stuff, Donna. There's a demand for this.
I got to tell you, when I was growing up, the local newspaper, it was the Albertville Reporter. Okay, local, now somebody big has bought them out and it's nowhere near the same anymore like it used to be. But there was a lady, her name was Mrs. Alexander, and she wrote a community column and more people actually looked at that and read that than they did anything else. People would thumb through there looking for Mrs. Alexander's community page. Now I'm going to tell you some of the things she would talk about were kind of out there, but it was truth stuff. It was like the nitty gritty of the things that were really happening in the community. One time I thought it was kind of funny because she actually gave away her son-in-law was having a birthday, and she kind of blew it by saying he was going to be having a surprise birthday party. But anyway, she blew that. But anyway, I'm just telling you, everybody looked for Mrs. Alexander's column.
Exactly. So there's plenty of those people in every community. And it's just a matter of letting them know that our platform exists and then getting them to sign up and be proactive in the community. And there's plenty of them. I mean, look at Nick Shirley. There's a perfect example, right? I mean, he's just uncovering stuff that's so big that the mainstream media wouldn't want to uncover. They would have suppressed it. I mean, look at Amy Robach and Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, they were going to break that story and it was nixed. I mean, why do you think that is? Why would you take a story that big and shut it down?
And water it down. Not only shutting it down, but before you shut it down, you water it down. We have 30 seconds left in this segment. Man, time flies by when you're having fun. Sam, how can folks get in contact with you if they have a story?
Sure. You could reach out to me. It's an easy email, sam@yournews.com. If you want to become one of our monetized news reporters, you would go to yournews.com. Go to the bottom of the page. There's something that says become a citizen journalist. Click that. There's a couple videos you could watch, and then there's an application below. Or if you're a PR firm or a nonprofit, or you're somebody that just wants to have a voice in your community and post a classified or an opinion, there's a button at the top that says submit your news. You create an account, you can post. It's very simple.
Thank you so much, Sam, for being on the show with us today. I am so looking forward to this. It's so exciting. It really is. Probably more exciting than anything else I'm doing, but I'm very, very excited about it. And I'm so excited that you guys watch the show. Thank you so much for doing that. Continue sending email. Makes my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. If you have more questions about what Sam is doing, you can get in contact with me. I'll refer you to Sam. How about that? Firsthand knowledge. Thank you again, Sam, for being on the show with us. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. See you later.
Thanks, Donna.